Performance of the housing sector is one of the yardsticks by which the health of a nation is measured. In most developed economies, the housing sector is seen as an important sector for stimulating economic growth. However, in Nigeria, access to affordable housing has largely remained an unfulfilled dream to the vast majority, most especially the middle and the lower class of the society. How has Nigeria's housing sector fared so far? How have we done at 59? This will be the object of focus on the program today as we bring you the Independence edition of the program. We shall bring to you an extensive report of housing interventions over the years since 1960, and we shall also have stakeholders and housing deliberate on the way forward for the sector. My name is Nomso Thelma, and I say happy 59th Independence celebration to our dear country, Nigeria. I'll be back. Now, 59 years post-colonial rule, where is the Nigeria housing sector at this point? Let's take you through the history of housing development policies in Nigeria. Although Nigeria began housing programs before her political independence from Great Britain on October 1, 1960, the housing problems in the country remain intractable as many rural and urban populations in the country do not have access to decent, safe and affordable housing. The colonial administration established the Nigerian Building Society after the Second World War. This was to allow for housing opportunities for both public and private sectors. However, the Nigerian Building Society couldn't stand the test of time because it remained solely dependent on government funding. The Federal Housing Authority was established through the promulgation of Decree No. 40 of 1973 and began a formal operation in 1976. Part of its responsibilities was making proposals to the federal government on housing and ancillary infrastructural services and implementing those approved by government. Since inception, Federal Housing Authority has been the main federal organ in the provision of housing in Nigeria. In 1980, the civilian government launched the National Low-Cost Housing Scheme aimed at providing housing to all Nigerians. The Nigerian Building Society, which was later transformed into Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria in 1977, served as the main engine room for public housing delivery, with a dual function of both primary and secondary mortgage institution. Between 1981 and 82, National Housing Program was designed to provide 350 medium and high-income housing units each of the then 19 states of the Federation by the Federal Housing Authority. In 1991, a housing policy was launched by the then military government with the slogan "Housing for All" by the year 2000 AD. The goal was for all Nigerians to have access to decent housing at affordable costs before the end of the year 2000. Decree No. 3 of 1992, which was packaged against the background of the National Housing Policy (NHP), was a legal instrument for mandating individuals and government to pool resources into the National Housing Fund. In 2003, the Obasanjo government established the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and proposed the housing reform. These policies also became an offshoot of professional bodies like Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria and Building Materials Producers Association of Nigeria, BOMPAN. The Nigerian National Housing Policy in 2006 was as a result of the inability of earlier policies and programs to adequately resolve the backlog of housing problems in the country. In 2007 to 2010, during Umaru Musa Yar'Adua's administration, while there were no impressive ambitions about housing, one of the points in his famous 7-point agenda was land reforms, even though it was not achieved. In 2009, it was suggested that for Nigeria to meet up with its housing needs by the year 2020, the federal government must provide the legal and regulatory environment that would attract public-private partnership. In 2012, President Goodluck Jonathan announced that the federal government was committed to revolutionizing the housing sector by translating the National Housing Policy and National Urban Development Policy into a roadmap for housing development in the country. In line with this, Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company was established for mortgage refinancing with the support of World Bank. The Buhari-led administration introduced new initiatives to tackle housing delivery, like the Family Homes Fund, the National Housing Program, and the Federal Integrated Staff Housing.
One of the most prominent features of your house is your roof. Your roof will tell how old your building is. At Plus World, we pride ourselves in having the expertise and products to bring your roof back to life. While other roofing companies suggest removing the roof, we restore the roof with warranty assurance. Let Plus World Roofing recoat your old and fading roofs and make your roofs brand new. Our products are eco-friendly and completely harmless to human and the environment. We offer services that will sustain your roof's integrity and by extension, your property value. This includes roof repairs and maintenance for residential, commercial, and industrial properties. Our roof restoration solution saves you up to 70% the cost of replacing your roof. Contact Plus World Roofing today. Plus World Roofing. Why re-roof when you can restore?
As you have seen from that report, a lot of policies have been set up over the years. The question is how much has been achieved from these policies. Let's hear more from some housing stakeholders in this next report. 59 years of independence and housing is still a major problem facing Nigeria and is also one of the major challenges each administration always seeks to tackle. In this report, some stakeholders in Nigeria's housing sector critically examine the state of the sector at 59 years independence as they speak on the best way forward. Professor Charles Inyagete, Executive Chairman of Integrated Risk and Investment Service, says, despite the numerous housing policies over the years, there is still a shortfall in housing, hence the need to revisit the existing policies.
Our policies in housing have not yielded the expected results, and we need to really revisit these policies. And so, in my view, what is required is to look at housing in a manner that gives it the focal point that it deserves. So the policies can be driven through that focal point. What do I mean by that? I'm advocating that we create a housing commission, some call it a housing council, that would allow us to evolve policies for housing that address issues of the most needy group in our community, which is the first-time homeowners. We're not doing much for them because of the affordability of housing. So if we have policies that specifically address first-time homeowners, we will begin to drive down the impact of housing on the community and on society by making it more and more affordable.
Roland Abonta, President, Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, describes the progress made over the years as stunted. He says there's need to draw proper planning for the housing sector since the nation's population has been estimated to increase in some years' time.
The progress that we have made as a nation in the housing sector in the last 9 years, if you like, can be described to be stunted progress that has not been impressive at all. The great lesson to learn from where we are coming to where we are today is to learn how to plan, because there is this common saying that if you fail to plan, then you have already planned to fail. And that's what we have seen across the line, across the sectors of the nation's economy or system, if you like. But worst hit is the housing sector. Urbanization became so astronomous, increasing number of people that came into cities to live, and then facilities kept deteriorating, that we have gotten to a point that in some areas, including the city of Abuja, some areas are facing epidemics in terms of things that happen in such areas. If you talk of the Mpapes of Abuja, talk of the Nyanyan or such places, you will not believe that it's still within the Federal Capital Territory that you will see such things happening. So the lesson is for us to begin to replan or draw proper planning for our housing sector.
For the president, Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime, he says there has been a paradigm shift in home ownership over the years.
Where we're at an evolutionary stage. Nigerian real estate sector is at an evolutionary stage. There has been a paradigm shift in home ownership, and that resulted in people not being able to build their own houses, either because of lack of savings or because they do not have the time to be able to do that, and consequently they have outsourced that to a new set of investors called developers. There has been a paradigm shift because it is now possible for you to own a house via a mortgage. Over the past few years, the Federal Mortgage Bank, instead of intervening only in the supply, in the demand side, is now intervening in the supply side to increase the housing stock. Also, we have institutions like Family Homes Fund, we have institutions like Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company, and now we have a networking of these various institutions, either operating on the supply side like Redan, operating on the demand side like Mortgage Bank as Mbank. We are now working collaboratively with Building Material Producers Association of Nigeria to know that its chain is as strong as its weakest link.
He further gives suggestions on the way forward.
As we celebrate our 59th year anniversary as a country, I'd like to let you know there's a real hope for the real estate sector to become the sector that creates the needed employment. Youth unemployment will be a thing that will gradually reduce, that will engender the huge IGR we need for our development, and at the same time become the hub for socioeconomic improvement and development of our country. I believe that as we work on these areas and with added support from the policymakers, this country will turn out to be a destination of choice for foreign direct investment in the real estate space.
The country has failed to truly house a huge number of its citizens. For a nation to be considered great, it must make sure its teeming population is with a good accommodation, and for this to be accomplished, the government must create a policy that can adequately solve the problems facing the Nigerian housing sector.
My name is Dr. Mrs. Hannatu Adamu Fika. Actually, I'm a great fan of this program. Every week, I stay back and watch AIT to ensure that I listen to what they say, and I want to encourage all Nigerians to watch this program.
You will agree with me that a lot still needs to be done for the nation's population to be adequately housed. Now moving ahead, let's see what Royal Brand of Ceramics has for us this week. For those into building materials, this should interest you. West African Ceramics Limited, a promoter of Royal Brand of Ceramics in Nigeria, have introduced a new ceramic tiling concept to the Nigerian market. VIT porcelain tiles that combines inspirational design with high durability. Using only the finest materials, their ceramic tiles are manufactured by skilled craftsmen using European technology into masterpieces of design to a superior specification at affordable prices. These, combined with their existing brand Royal, consistently voted Nigeria's favorite wall and floor tile, means West African Ceramic Limited offers a full range of monoporosa, monocultura, vitrified and porcelain tiles to the West African market and for export all over the world. While into granite, tiles and other products, the company recently launched its marble production section at the company's facilities in Ajaokuta, Kogi State, Nigeria.
We started with the wall tiles. Now we are producing wall tile, floor tile, roof tile, vitrified. Now recently we went for the marble and granite also. The marble is the one main is the engineered marble. First time we brought into Africa. Not only Nigeria, it is the first time Africa, equal to Italian and world international standard marbles we are producing in Nigeria with made in Nigeria materials, raw materials, process, manpower, everything totally made in Nigeria. Only small polymers we are importing, other than polymers all are made in Nigeria. And we are planning to go for the polymer production also with coming year. And our main aim is to serve building industry with all local made materials to complete their house with one stop for all building industries. Now next year we are going for the sanitary ware, and the sanitary ware comes, then it will complete almost your roof structure, roof tile, everything will be completed building industries.
The Royal Marbles Manufacturing Factory, which has been operational for about 8 months now, boasts of average daily production of 3,000 square meters. On a trip to the factory, housing development was shown round by the MD, Mr. Bhaskar Rao, who practically saw the team through the entire process of production, starting from raw materials extraction, the crushing, grinding, milling process, mixing, pressing, cotton and packaging.
We are ready to dispatch made in Nigeria with Nigerian soil, Nigerian raw material.
According to Rao, the raw materials are all sought in Nigeria, and they include wout, marble chips and limestone.
Raw material mining, then processing of the raw material, then pressing of the raw material, block making, then it will go for the cutting and polishing, all made in Nigeria with Nigerian soil, with Nigerian raw materials.
The marble section, according to him, is also set to commence export to countries like Ghana, Niger and Chad. Royal Brand has been a household name in the building materials industry since 1996. Its main aim is to serve the building industry with all locally made products. The company plans to go into sanitary wares by next year in an effort to be a one-stop shop for building materials.
The latest couple in town.
Good day, sir.
How are you? Oh, sit down, sit down, sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Drinks?
No, we're fine, sir.
How was the moon experience?
It was quite an experience.
How about house?
We are renting at the moment, but we intend to save enough to own our own house, right?
Why not avoid all those Shylock landlords and own a house upfront? With the average income and cost of building houses today in Nigeria, mortgage is the best option. No sweat. I tell you what, that was how I got my first house, and I've never regretted it.
To make good homes, and by implication a good society, an individual is expected to have an abode from which to take off and return at the end of each day. At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, everyone deserves a home. Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
Welcome back. On this program, we always bring to you the views of Nigerians on the street as they relate to us how matters concerning housing affects them. Housing Development decided to feel the pulse of the people on Nigeria's housing sector at 59. Let's see Voice on the Street.
If I'm encouraged to you that they're not even trying a bit, because if you look at Abuja here and look at the civil servants, they don't have anywhere to stay, and the houses here are so costly, so expensive, and all the houses they have now is owned by individuals. If you go to Kuba Road, you see all these houses owned by somebody. You see a estate owned by somebody. What do you do with it? You go today, they'll post the next tomorrow, see that they will not do anything. I mean, we are tired.
We'll be hearing an issue of housing from the federal government, from the ministers of housing and urban development and something. No provision. Here in the city, an average human being, an average citizen of this country living in the city of Abuja cannot afford a house where to stay.
When we are talking of provision of the houses, from my experience, it's always the housing policy in Nigeria. Although theoretically, they will say they want to make provision for the houses, this and that, but it has never favored the masses.
My own opinion, the housing development is nothing to write home about. Yeah, we've been having a lot of programs from different government sectors, hoping that there are going to be a lot of houses for the masses, even for the common civil servants in Nigeria. But to be honest with you, it's nothing to write home.
Well, I would say lately, with the involvement of private sector in housing development, there has been a lot of improvement. Hitherto, it was only government through the Federal Housing Authority that was building houses before. Then there was a lot of problems. They couldn't do much houses. But with private sector involvement in housing now and partnering with government, there are a lot of improvement, but it's not enough, but there's improvement now.
Now, everyone loves a good and comfortable shelter, more so when it is affordable. Let's take a trip to one of Urban Shelter's housing estates in Lagos with Taiwo Olushola, its Director for Sales, Marketing and Business Development.
Coming to Lagos is part of the expansion plan in terms of trying to broaden our horizon and market coverage, having had almost like 47% of the market in Abuja. We currently have two-pronged approach in development in Lagos. We have the premium project going on at Oniru, just about 3 minutes walk distance to the Atlantic Beach and about 3 minutes driving distance to any hotels within the VI. It's a lovely design in terms of architecture and landscape design. It's an apartment on 6 floors. We have on 6 floors with penthouses on top. And we have tried to meet the customer need in terms of if you're an expatriate and you just need a compact apartment, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom. We have the design in terms of 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom apartment. We have also 3 bedroom and 4 bedroom paint floor on the 6th floor. And it has an overlooking view of the Atlantic City, our Atlantic and the new Eco Atlantic City. The distinguishing factors in terms of our project in relation to other developers is our design. Our designs are modern designs, and we also integrate postmodern architecture into our design. The other thing that is making it very, very distinguished for us is the fact that we have understood the challenges in the demand side, which is one of which is financing. So what we have done is that we have come up with a flexible payment system, which makes it easier for you to subscribe for our project. Currently, we are adopting a model system where you can pay up to 36 months for the estate, whichever one you are subscribing. We sit down with you, we look at your payment or your income structure. If you're a salary earner and you want to be paying back over every month, or if you're a businessman that you don't earn your income monthly, we have make a quarterly payment system for you. And also in some instances, we have done half-yearly payment. So it's easier for you to make payments for your estate. Those are the things that stand us out.
With that, we draw the curtains on today's episode. Thanks for staying with us so far on the program. If you just tuned in, not to worry, you can get all you missed by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Housing TV Africa to get details and more. Please don't hesitate to follow us on our social media pages on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Housing Program. For advert placement or sponsorship of the program, you can send a WhatsApp message to the numbers on your screen or send us a mail via housingdevelopmentprogram@gmail.com. I'll see you next week, same time. My name is Nomso Thelma.